Hello and welcome to another episode of Contemporary Living Live. Yes, we are live, you guys, and we are ready to talk about a very important topic. I'm so excited tonight, you guys. I just cannot wait to get started. Of course, Andre's working the ones and twos. I don't know if you caught him last week, but we did a workshop in Moments, and it was power-packed with information on multifamily, building up home, creating legacy. Really, that was all it was about. So I don't know if you missed that, but if you did miss that, you missed something really special because we had a credit consultant there. We had a loan officer there, and we had Andre talking about real estate. We had a really good time, but you can expect more of that from us. But I just want to thank you for coming in to watch Contemporary Living, because you could have there's so much noise everywhere, on the radio, on the television, on social media. There's so much noise, and you chose to be here, and it just pleases us, and we're so thankful and we're so grateful that you have tuned in to watch. But guess what? You know what we're all about. We are all about providing lifestyle solutions for everyday people like me, everyday people like you. That is what it's about. So if you're here, I know you're smart. I know you're smart if you're here. But I just want you to know that I know you're smart, and to say thank you for tuning in. Now, I've got some housekeeping notes. Andre's not here to do the housekeeping notes today, you guys. So I have to remember what's going on. But you can catch us every other Sunday right here on Facebook Live or YouTube or E360, which goes out to all over the world on Roku, Apple TV. Yes, we are everywhere providing lifestyle solutions for everyday people. And if you want a little Saturday morning chat, you know you can catch me every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. for the Farm Hill Cafe, where we talk about We have coffee over news, conversation, and information. And if you want to reach out to us, you just come right on to info@contemporaryliving.live.com. That's info@contemporaryliving.live.com. If you're interested in getting a video or commercial spot done for yourself, if you're interested in coming on the show and you bring things to the table, you're here to help other people. That's who we're looking for. So you can just go ahead and send us an email. But today, you guys, I don't know if you've seen the commercial. I don't know if you just seen the flyer or someone just invited you here. We have 4 amazing financial coaches. You know, when it comes to talking about money, it's pretty interesting. You know, a lot of people, and I'll just talk about where I'm from, it might not be you and your situation because everyone's situation is different. A lot of people didn't, when I was growing up, didn't talk about money around the dinner table, how to make it, how to keep it, how to grow it. It was always, no, you can't have it. And, or it was never enough. That was just my experience. But the thing about it is, a lot of times fear and people not, us not wanting to put our information, our business out, share our information, a lack of trust. It's a lot of that happens and we get left behind. And today is designed so that you don't get left behind. These amazing women that I have here today are going to talk about their own personal experience, and they're going to share with how you can connect with them. Because statistics, I always throw these statistics out there when it comes to finances. You guys, 85% of people. So that means there's a portion of you watching now. You don't have to, don't tell on yourself. Don't tell on yourself. But there's 85% of the people hate their jobs. Tomorrow is Monday, the first day of a working week. How are you feeling mentally, physically, emotionally? How are you feeling? Because it's a serious thing. 85% of people don't even want to go to work tomorrow, but they do it. Why? To pay the mortgage, to put food on the table, to take care of your family. You do it because you have to. But then there are more statistics that 75% of Americans are one paycheck away from being homeless. What's in your bank account? If you lost your job tomorrow, what's the next course of action for you? These are some serious questions. And then when we talk about people that look like me, only 38% of African Americans are financially literate. They don't even know the basics of what they need to know to have, keep, grow, and invest. That's a serious thing. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to get into this space. Only 38% of African Americans are literate. This is deep. It's serious. And then when it comes to the military, of course, you guys know that I am an Army veteran. Only 30% or less than 30% of military veterans afford to pay their bills. It's less than 30%. We're out here in the greatest, richest country in the world, struggling. That's cause for pause. Are you struggling? Do you go to bed at night worried about money? How am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to pay these bills? What do I do next? There are a lot of coaches in the world. But if you don't know what to do, if you have not created a blueprint for yourself, you need a financial coach. And that's why we got 4 of them tonight here just for you. So I thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat so we can see your questions. But now what we're going to do, because Andre's giving me the signal, we're going to go ahead and roll the commercial. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about the first person. So Joya Turner is a financial coach. She's also a mother of three with one son, but she also has her niece and nephew who she got at the ages of 8 months and 3 years old. Now they're 20 and 22 respectively. So when you think about what a hero she is, she had one son that she gave life to, but now she also has her niece and her nephew who are now 20 and 22. She's my Shiro already. She also has a 2-year-old granddaughter. And Joya has had 25 years of management experience, with 18 of those years being in property management. She has a passion for helping people. That's one of the things I know you want in a financial coach, someone that's actually out to help you. She has a passion for helping people and believes that it was God who moved her into her purpose of financial services because it gave her a larger platform to help the masses. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Joya Turner. Joya!
How are you?
I'm well. You look absolutely fabulous, young
All right, thank you very much. And this is so awesome. Thank you for having me on.
You know what? You know what? Thank you for being here. You are needed. And I know you're always helping people, but let me just give you words of encouragement. You are needed
Oh,
definitely in this space where God has placed you. I read the bio. You are definitely needed in this place, in this space where God has placed you. And I hope and pray that this platform can make your business even more busy. I know you're already busy, but you need to be super busy. So I hope this platform helps. So let's talk about financial coaching and a little
okay.
bit about let's talk about how you got into this space.
It's really funny because financial coaching found me. And I
Oh,
say that to say, maybe a little bit over a year ago, I was considering what my new career path was going to be. Okay. And financial coaching wasn't a part of it. However, when God sent a gentleman to me and introduced financial literacy to me, it was like,
yeah.
I need to be doing this,
Mhm.
right? And so the first thing that comes to mind is to, being a financial coach. And if you ask the question, why did I decide to do it? One, I would say honestly, is the very first time that I feel strongly, wholeheartedly, that I'm doing something in life that it has a true purpose, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You mentioned where we grew up at. Well, I grew up in areas where cycles needed to be broken, and
Mhm.
so by being
Poverty cycles.
yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
cycles need to be broken financially, and
Mhm.
and just in all other ways, because let's just be clear, the financial someone's financial life,
Mhm.
right, determines other areas of your life, um
Absolutely.
in most cases. So let's be real about that.
You know what? And I'm glad you said that, because I've heard someone say that your your finances dictate your zip code, and zip codes are important. And the reason why they're important is because they do a lot of marketing. They put a lot of money into certain zip codes, whereas some zip codes, they don't put as much money into.
Hmm.
And so,
That
yeah, you're absolutely right. It does make a difference.
it definitely does. It definitely does. And if you just tie it into like even your family dynamic, again, where I came from and where I was raised, building wealth, creating legacies, it's just something we weren't taught.
Mhm.
And it's not when you learn it. It's just the fact that as long as you can get that information, it doesn't matter how old you are. get it, take it, and run with it. So that's what I decided to do. I changed my life first.
Right. I always say you're one decision away from changing your financial destiny. But I think, I talked about fear earlier, and, a lot of people think, fear is false evidence appearing real. But a lot of times what I'm finding and learning that it's from a lack of knowledge, because the more you understand a thing, the more confidence you have in it. And if finances is not something that you're talking about to your kids or around the dinner table, you won't have the confidence in it.
Absolutely. So
Right.
that's
And
where you start to
mhm,
break that cycle, which is very important to me.
absolutely, that is good. I'm so glad to have you on. And
Thank
we have
you.
three other wonderful women that are going to be on here. But you guys, if you want to reach out to Joya, here is her number: 708-916-8100. And like I always say, don't walk to Joya, run to her.
Run to
Run
me.
to her. Get your finances in order. Get your financial house in order. And that's what it's all about. With Joya, thank you for being on here. I'm going to bring the next wonderful lady out, and then we are going to see you later.
Okay.
All righty. All right. Who do I want to bring up next? Yes, yes. This next guest, our next guest, is Miss Cecilia Tab. Now, Cecilia is a was a CPS teacher for has been a CPS teacher for over 20 years. She has a visionary women's ministry, Jabez Women Ministry, and she's had that ministry for over 20 years. She's had another marriage. She's had a marriage ministry for over 37 years, and she loves to make the difference in the lives of others financially, spiritually, and loves to encourage every person to reach their purpose. Ooh, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Cecilia. Cecilia!
Yes! Oh my God, this is amazing. How
I'm
are
beautiful.
you?
How are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Little Melissa, for having me on tonight. I am truly humbled to be in your presence and on this amazing show tonight.
You know what? The audience, it is, we are humbled to be in your presence tonight. And let me tell you why. Because you have a wealth of information. You have a wealth of information when it comes to marriage and ministry. You have a wealth of information when it comes to being a financial coach. And I want you to just kind of tell the audience, well, how did you get into this financial coaching thing?
Well, let
So,
me,
like people say, what's your story?
what's my story? Everybody has a story, right?
Right,
So
right.
I do have a story. See, you know what? Again, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I'm the oldest of 8. So I grew up poor. And I took off oldest of 8. Like I said, it was 5 girls, 3 boys, and my parents. So parents was in the bedrooms, brothers, sisters, 5 room, and my brothers had a room, and then we shared one bathroom. I lived and I grew up poor, and I didn't realize I was poor.
Mm-hmm.
So I took off want to be rich, and you want to learn how to, to increase my wealth. But I realized that it's not about the money, it's about your purpose.
Mm.
So God showed me my purpose, and that was to
Yes.
teach, to inspire, and to show others, to encourage others to their purpose. Then I realized that He wanted me to also motivate others to create wealth for their families, to teach what the wealthy has known for years.
That
That
part,
part.
Cecilia.
That part. To
Mm-hmm.
teach what the wealthy has known for years. So I get really super duper excited to actually to have that opportunity to teach that to
Mm-hmm.
anybody, whomever that wants to hear and make a change in their lives and create wealth
Right.
presently and for generations and generations to come.
Oh, that is just so beautiful. So,
Yeah.
what do you find like when you have a client, like, let me just start with the statistics I gave. So, 85% of people hate their jobs. 75% of Americans are one paycheck away from being homeless. Only 38% of African Americans are financially literate. Have you run into like what do you think about those statistics, or can you relate to those statistics?
I really can. I can relate to it because you know what I do remember is the people perish because of lack of knowledge, right? And I
Mhm.
believe that once someone knows exactly where to put their money, instead of telling your letting your money go to any place, once you start being knowledgeable and telling your money where to go, things change. People
Mhm.
want to change. And if they have someone, you know what, I always wonder what was the person around that was supposed to encourage me, or help me with this money. I kind of knew, but I didn't know. So
Mhm.
what I aspire to be is be that person that I really didn't have in my life, right? For
Right.
others, for others. And it's
Right.
simple. By teaching the 6 steps to financial independence, we can do that. It would change their lives and trajectory of their families for generations and generations to come.
Oh, that is beautiful. So you guys heard that, the 6 steps to financial independence, that's going to be important. And we're going
Yes.
to talk about all of that. So I think Cecilia may have just went out, but that is fine. We will just keep, oh, there you are. There you are. So Cecilia, I'm so grateful that you came on. We're going to move on because we're all going to be gathered and start talking about financial coaching and what everyone does. But I appreciate you being on, and we're going to go on to our next guest, and I will see you shortly, okay? All right. So I'm going to bring up the next guest. Now, Miss Marla Rederick is a third generation Chicagoan, born and raised on the South Side. South Side. We pretty deep in here. South Side is pretty deep in here. I'm from the South Side, born and raised as well. She currently resides in Bronzeville with her 2 dogs, Gigi and Pepper. Marla has a background in finance, insurance, real estate, and education. She has over 25 years in this industry, and as a leader in her church, in her community, in her family, and in business, Marla is very passionate and determined to help educate her community about financial literacy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Marla Rederick.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, Melissa, I'm so proud of you. What you are doing, what you and Andre are doing is phenomenal. And this is fantastic. So thank you for allowing me to come on and just play
No,
a little bit of a part. You know,
we're not worthy. We're not worthy. I'm just so glad that you are here. You know what? I just want to make a note because I'm glad Andre is running your telephone number right now. We'll have to bring up Cecilia's telephone number, which I didn't do. But right now, let's catch Marla's telephone number, 312-848-7343, you guys. If you need a financial coach and you want that financial coach to be Marla. So, Marla, tell us a little bit about what's your story.
hey, so as you already said, I've been in this industry a long time, but here was the piece is that Melissa, they did not teach me really about how finances worked. Even though I
Mm,
did mortgages for years, I was a personal banker for many years. So I worked for the big banks and
right.
worked for the big insurance companies as well. And I just didn't get educated the way I should have been educated. And so, um, in 2018, I lost the love of my life, my husband,
Mm,
and he was pretty savvy, a great man. I have to say that because they say that if you're lucky to find that one,
yeah.
and I know that I was truly blessed.
Yeah.
And so I lost him to leukemia, but um, when he passed away, I was absolutely devastated. He used to always tell me, Marla, I know you're going to take care of me, even though he had 2 beautiful daughters. But you know how they get busy. And he said, but who's going to take care of you? And so he felt like that money component needed to happen in our nucleus to make sure that I was taken care of, because the girls are now, each of them live in different states. I'm in Illinois, one's in Minnesota, one's actually in Arizona. And so that was really important. And honestly, when my husband passed, I wanted to just sit on the couch. I wanted to sit there for some weeks. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to go to work.
Right.
Very devastating. And thank goodness, thank God he had put some things in place that I didn't have to worry about the mortgage getting paid, whether they were going to come and get the car or whether I needed to go back to work like immediately.
Right.
And so I'm really grateful for that. But what happened was I was burdened, or I was presented with being a widow. I needed to make some decisions. I needed to figure out how money was going to work in the family. I needed to figure out what the legacy was going to look like. I needed to figure out how to make things work, whether I was working a job, had a business, or whatever. And so I went to my bank, got kind of a shun. They told me I needed to have at least $250,000.
Just to talk,
Right, in an account in order for them to even talk to me, Melissa.
Right, right.
And whether I had it or not was not the important thing.
Right.
It was how I was treated. And I couldn't figure out if it was because I was just a female or because of the color of my skin. You know, I was being judged. And so I didn't get the response I was expecting or the help that I needed. And I looked again, I looked at another bank, same thing. They wanted to charge me to do a financial needs analysis. And somebody told me to check out this guy. And I did. And I talked to him and found out that there was so much information I didn't have.
Right.
And I originally came into this industry just trying to get some information for myself so that I wouldn't go broke as a widow, you know. And I got a passion. I said, how many other people are out there like me? How many women or men? And I really have a nucleus of people who are widows and widowers who have come to me for assistance because I knew exactly what they were going through. I know what it feels like to lose the love of your life and then have to figure out the money piece too. And so that's what happened.
Oh, wow.
I came for the knowledge and stayed because it answered some of my prayers and answered the things that I needed in my life, which was to know how money works and how to get through this process without losing everything.
Right. And I'm so, you know, condolences to you for the loss of your husband. And, you know, now that you mentioned that, today is such a great day to talk about it. Today is September 11th. And we all know what happened September 11th, 2001. So we just want to maybe take a 10-second pause just to think about those. And then before we take this pause, Marla, what I want to do is think about your financial status, because if you think about so many people that lost their lives in 2001 on 9/11, which is today, how many people weren't prepared? How many people were depending on that loved one that they lost to bring in a paycheck? How many people had to do GoFundMes for funerals and things like that? And that's something to think about. So thank you, Marla, again. So let's just, everyone now, just take out a 10-second pause for those lives lost. I believe it's 21 years. It might be 21 years now ago on 9/11 on today. So let's do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa, because how many people, you never walk out of your house thinking, I'm not going to make it home to the people that I love.
I know. And so, you know, we take life for granted, but we're going to talk about this as soon as I bring the entire group on. Thank you for being here. We have to bring up our last guest, but I can't wait to talk to you in the group conversation.
Absolutely.
Financial coach Marla Redrick, you guys. Thank you. All right. And our last guest is Miss Venice Ewing. Now, she's been in the financial service industry for over 20 years as a realtor, a loan officer, a tax specialist. You know what? And she is a lovely single mom of 3, and she is passionate about spreading the knowledge of financial literacy all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Miss Venice Ewing.
Hey, hello, Melissa.
Man, it's so good to see you, woman.
Yes, babe, this is awesome. The ladies sound marvelous. I love it.
I know that, each of us have our own individual story as to why we got into it. So that is the question. That's the burning question. Why, Venice? Why did you do it? Why did you get into this thing called financial services?
So, first of all, I want to say it was probably God given for me, a little different than most of the other women's stories because I had a young baby at a young age, at the age of 20. I was in college. My grandmother told me that I may need to be thinking about becoming an entrepreneur because wasn't anybody planning on babysitting for me while I finished life. So I'm gonna tell you, it was a bittersweet beginning because when you think about life with children, the
Yeah.
first thing you think about is work. How am I gonna provide? What am I gonna do? And so being a mommy has steered my world for the last 21 years because of my girls.
Mm-hmm.
One, I knew I had to provide, but I also wanted to be a full-time parent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have to rely on anyone to take them to school, take them to daycare, make sure they ate. I was a very stickler, picular type of mom, Melissa. My babies had to have lotion on their face. They had to eat
Right,
breakfast in the morning. I was that mother. Like, why does
right.
she have that shirt on? Oh my God, I don't like that coat, Mom. So it steered me to be an entrepreneur. I had to work for myself. That's how I started in real estate at the age of 21 with Century 21. That's
Yeah,
also what made me become a loan officer. It was just a drive to make more money. So the more I learned, the more I grew. And
yeah.
so I would say, due to my decisions in life and me not wanting to juggle between work and being a mom, I had to do what I had to do while they were away. So I had to make a living in that small time. And so when you can write your own check and you can create a
Yes.
life for yourself and your family without anyone else telling you what you're worth an hour, I started to learn that at a young age. That
Mm.
started me on my way. So I've been an entrepreneur for the last 20 years. And I don't knock people who have jobs. What I will say is life will give you some things where you just have to juggle and you
Mm-hmm.
have to make some hard decisions. I never regretted the fact that I became an entrepreneur. And so I love finance. Math is my favorite subject. I went to Alabama State for accounting. I never became an accountant because I started off with real estate. From there, I learned to deal with people, people of all walks of life. I've learned that being a business owner is the best piece of life because you're going to learn how to create a life for yourself that no one else can offer. And
Absolutely.
so, being a financial coach has really been the passion of my journey. I have planted my flag here. I'm not going to be doing anything else for the rest of my life but making more businesses and growing and teaching my baby girls how not to ever have to clock in if they don't have to, if they don't want to.
I see them following in your footsteps because one of your daughters is already an entrepreneur, isn't she?
She loves hair. So
Right.
she started off doing wigs about 2 years ago. We helped
Mhm.
launch her business.
Yeah.
She's now in real estate school. She will be a realtor real soon. She's taking her test the first time. And God be, she missed it only by a few points.
Right.
She's now about to retest. My second oldest is going to be a doctor. She is my
Wow.
love bug. She is my driven one. She keeps me busy because she's an athlete as well.
Mm-hmm.
But my youngest, Mrs. Mahari, she is my CEO. She
Right.
has
Right.
been with me in this company since she was 18 months old. She'll be 8. So
Wow.
I will tell you that it's been a life journey,
Mhm.
but that one there, she's always with me. She's right across the table from me now. Anytime I'm speaking, she's here.
That is wonderful. That's
So,
building legacy. We're not even talking about financially because
no,
one thing I do know is children don't do what you tell them to do. They emulate you. So they watch and they see what you're doing before they listen to
yeah.
you at any time. Yeah. Yeah.
So my girls have seen me. They know that I love teaching this. They know that I love it because I'm in the trenches with my clients. I tell them I am very transparent about it. I'm going somewhere. We're on the move as a team, as a company. But guess what? While I'm learning, I'm pouring into others. And as I'm growing, I'm letting you see me walk that path. I'm not there. I'm nowhere near the end. I'm just in the beginning. And for my followers, for my team, for my kids, for my family, I just say keep watching. God is working in me every day. I'm a work in progress. I'm so open to it. But guess what? He's planted me where I need to be. I understand what we teach. And I just want to make it simple for everyone else who has not had the opportunity to know they can as well. And being wealthy is definitely a goal. And it's easy. And it's going to be simple.
Yep. Hey, you guys have to stay here because guess what? Did we put Venice's info in, Andre? I'm just making sure we did. Okay, he said yes, we did. We've added. I just want to make sure, and we have to go back and get Cecilia's information. But one of the things you spoke on, and I know he's rushing me for a commercial. I know he wants it. 85% of the people hate their job. How do you feel about your job,
girl? Look, I have 2 companies. But because of my passion for this is where I'm at. This is 95% of my world. Because I'm on the run right now, as far as with my business and launching, and I will be the first African American woman in Illinois with an office. So let me tell you, I am on a mission. So right now, there's nothing else that's more priority than what we do. And because of all the clients I've met on the journey, I tell you, people who hate their jobs is only there because of fear. They're scared to step out.
Yep.
They don't believe, they don't trust. They got the naysayers in their ear. I tell my kids, let them talk and keep walking. They're going to talk about you anyway. Keep walking. They're going to hate on you anyway, good or bad. Keep pushing. But I tell you, when you start hating it enough, you'll make some decisions. Don't let that job kill you. There's greatness in all of us. So just keep doing what you're doing. Find your passion. Believe that you can. I think that's the biggest thing I pour into my girls. Believe. Just believe. Believe and put a foot forward, Melissa. That's all they have to do.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Andre. He's like, hey, let's keep rolling. That is Ms. Venice Ewing. And when we come back, we're going to get into the trenches of, what financial coaching is, some terms you may not be familiar with, and we're just going to talk about it. So if you have any questions, we want you to go ahead and put them in the chat. I see people commenting. Thank you so much. We're going to move into a commercial and we'll come back with Joya, Cecilia, Marla, and Venice to talk about it. See you soon. All right. Well, thank you. We are back, but before we even start to have this discussion, I just want to give a shout out to some of the people that are commenting. Chili, I see you. I see you, lady. I see you, beautiful. Hey, Chili is a retired Army veteran. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mother. She does a million and one things. She's on so many committees, you guys. She is a powerful woman. Thank you for joining us. I see Kim. Hey, Kim. I see Christy. Hey, Christy. So we just want you to, if you guys right now, if you have not shared this this recording, I want you to share it, because guess what? If you can use the information, that means someone else can too. So go ahead and share. It only takes one click. It's so funny because, you know, I'm on social media. I see social media. I see a whole bunch of famous people getting like, I'm like, 20,000 views in less than 30 minutes. That is so amazing. You know, so I want you to go ahead and share this, because that's all it takes. We want 20,000 views for this broadcast tonight too. Victoria, hello, Victoria, wonderful women of God sharing the knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Chili had a question for you, Venice. Chili said, have you written your book, Venice? Because you have an inspiring story that many can benefit from. But here's the thing. Have you written that book? Let's get the answer first.
So, Chili, thank you for putting me out there, girl. I have thought about it. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to do something different. I've had a producer come to me and an editor. I'm going to talk it. I'm not a writer. I've started with it several years ago. I have someone working with me now with audio. So I'm going to speak my book because I'm very passionate when I speak, and he loves to hear me speak. And so, yes, Chili, Cooking with Money, the number 2, is my brand. So I got a little twist to some things. I like cooking. So you guys have never heard of a recipe financial literacy book. And that's what I'm working on.
There you go. That is wonderful. So again, thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the first question I want to ask is, what do you think, or even from the audience, if you're tuned in, what are some of the fears you have about finances? What are some of the fears that you think people have? Or some of your clients, what are some of the fears that you've seen them, why they won't take the next step? Because I know you guys have the knowledge to create that financial blueprint, not for now, not just for now, but for legacy. Legacy is after you're gone. You guys know how to help them build that financial blueprint. So what do you think when a lot of people just kind of back off, what do you think that fear is?
Well, you mentioned earlier, Melissa, about fear being the reason why people won't take the step forward in life, whether success, career. And it's the same thing with financial literacy, lack of knowledge. You know, people are afraid to get into something or start something new that they've never known.
You know what, Joy? I just find it amazing that everyone needs to know about finances, but a lot of people are afraid to take that next step. So what would you recommend someone to encourage them to get past that fear, whatever that fear may be? Like you said, lack of knowledge. So how would you encourage them, you think?
Well, first thing for me, it was just, really being dedicated to making sacrifices.
And when you say sacrifices, what does that mean?
Whether it's a spending habit, for me, it was Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, croissants, and frappes for lunch every day. And then when I calculated what I was spending annually and found out that I had given McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts $3,200 for the year, I was devastated.
Isn't that's amazing when you start counting up the cost of what things actually cost, how it goes. Yeah, that is so true. What are some of the, so I'm just going to move the conversation. So some of the things I know that we talk about are having the proper protections and life insurance. So why is life insurance so important?
Well, quite simply, life insurance, it really defers the risk. I mean, when you think about it, if you have life insurance in place, then you don't have to worry about whether you're going to lose your house, whether you're going to not be able to send your child to college, whether you're not going to be able to give your daughter that special wedding. You don't want people that you love for their lives to have to change so drastically that not only are they mourning you, but then they're also having to move out. And I always tell a story. I used to tell a story. I had a young lady, she actually lost her husband 2 weeks before I lost my husband. And I was asking about her, And I was like, how is she doing? And somebody said, well, she had to move. So I'm thinking she had to move just because she wanted to move. But she had to move because she couldn't afford the house they had been living in. She had to move into a 1-bedroom. And then for years after that, her friends were trying to join together to find her a senior facility to live in, because the house, the beautiful home that her and her husband had lived in, she couldn't afford by herself.
Well,
and that's not something you want to happen.
Yeah, it's funny that you should say that. Just yesterday, I was watching a movie, and it's a new movie on Netflix, and it features Queen Latifah. And Queen Latifah, the same example you just gave, her husband died. She could not afford to keep her kids in that beautiful home anymore. So she had to move back to I think back to Texas with her family. And I mean, the movie takes a different direction. But now that I'm in the financial services space, I always think, well, just with just a few more dollars per month while her husband was living, she could have saved her entire house. And it's just little situations that come up that have me on alert now, to think of term insurance versus permanent insurance. And I know, Venice, I know a thing about that. So let's talk about that.
So I always when we talking to clients, it's all about education. I'm very transparent so that clients feel what we say when we're in the box with them. I'm not an expert. I'm just learning by experience. But what I can share is that we have protection on just about everything in our life. You have protection on your phones because you don't want to have to pay for a new phone. It's called a deductible. You pay the insurance for that cell phone. You pay insurance for your car because it's regulated by the state. You pay insurance on your house. You pay the extra flood insurance. All of that is important. So I always say, how important is your life? See, life insurance isn't for you necessarily. Think about the ones that depend on you. Life insurance is for those that expect for you to come home, like Marla said. Life insurance is, like Joya said, for those babies who are expecting for those lights to be on because they're expecting for mama to pay the bill.
Right.
Well, what about your life? How important is your life? And when I ask clients that, normally it's the dead moment. It's quiet. Who is stepping in if you get hit by this drunk driver the moment you get in the car going to work? What do you have? And so when you speak about protection, it's different than life insurance. I always say protection because the word protection means you're taking care. You're guarding something, Are you guarding those people that depend on you?
Absolutely.
And so when you talk about insurance, there's only 2 types of insurance in the world. And that's temporary insurance. And then there's permanent insurance. And there are several different types of permanent. But let me tell you, there is no one over the other. I must meet you. I must know your needs. We should do a financial need analysis so that I can understand your whole picture. I cannot give you a recommendation without you first being honest with what you need.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. And then, I mean, it's proper protections. That's one aspect, but it's something else that financial coaches do. And they talk about the rule of 72. Now, a lot of people have probably heard about the rule of 72, but have no understanding of what that is. They may be familiar with it. So Cecilia, you want to talk about the rule of 72 a little bit?
Yes, let's talk about the rule of 72. You did state that I was a teacher, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Math.
Yes, Miss Tab.
The rule of 72 is simply a division problem. And what it does, it just simply states how long will it take your money to grow? How long? Some of us have lazy money in the bank right now, right? And if we think about it, what is the interest rate? How is your money growing right now in the bank? It's probably less than 1%. Am I right?
So slow. You're like
not enough.
Not enough. is 0.000 point something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yep, absolutely.
So again, your money is not growing. So the rule of 72 says that, say for instance, we're going to give you 1%. Okay. So if we have, and it takes, how long would it take your money to grow and how long it would take your money to double? The rule of 72 states that. So if the interest rate is 1% and you divide that into 72, and if you had $10,000 and you're at the age of 29, how long will it take that $10,000 to double?
72 years.
72 years, because 1 divided by 72 is what? 72.
Making you 101 years old.
You will be 101 years old before that $10,000 become $20,000.
So you got to pull your money out the bank. That's really the bottom line.
The money is and what if we can have vehicles that you will be able to put your money into and it would double? Let's say if the interest rate was 8%. And if the rule of 72 again, how long will it take your money to double? And if you divide 72 by 8, how long will it take your money to grow?
Every 9 years sounds good to
Every
me.
9 years.
Right.
Every 9 years. So if you're 29 years old, let's stick with that still $10,000. How old would you be in 9 years?
You'll be 38.
You will be 38 years old.
But Cece,
yes.
One scary thing is that, tell them it works the same way with debt, right?
It works the same way with debt.
Oh, yes.
That is the other side to this coin. So if you borrow $10,000, right? And if you have what's the going interest rate right now on credit cards? 25%, right? And you divide that by 72, your money is doubling every 3 years.
Oh my God.
Every 3 years. Let's give you something to think about, and let's talk about, and let's work it out. So if you want your money to double, we have vehicles, products that we can help you with that. And what we'll do, we'll just sit down with you and talk to you and figure out what the goals you have. And if you're talking about you want to retire, there's vehicles for that as well.
Absolutely.
You know, Melissa, retirement is a number. It's not an age.
The number. You're right, Denise.
I love that. It's not an age. And so there are other products out there as well that, you know, financial coaches talk about, and that's IULs. And Andre is giving me the 5 minutes. You better be off of here in 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
I told you guys the time goes so quickly, right?
Oh my God.
So Marla, tell us a little bit about IULs and how can that help a family or an individual?
So really quickly, Melissa, you know, V and I always tease, we always talk about it, how it's like the telephone. Okay, I got this telephone. This thing does absolutely everything. It's a smartphone. It's a computer. It does, you know, sends emails and texts and all that stuff. But we used to have a rotary phone. You picked it up. Hello, you know. So I look at insurance and an IUL kind of like that. Not only does it do so many different things, it's graduated, it's gotten better. So the question is, do you still have a rotary phone going? Or do you have a smartphone? Yeah.
I love that, Marla.
Yes.
You can do
smartphone for me, Marla.
Yes.
All right. So yeah,
that's
we
5 minutes, okay?
We all want to have smartphones, you guys. So my last and final question to all of you, because he keeps pushing it. You know, where do you see yourself? Because we always talk about, we know that you guys have a passion. We figured that out. You have a passion for helping people. All you have to do, you guys, people that are listening, grab one of those telephone numbers and dial that number to create your financial blueprint to build your legacy. As you can see, this is a panel of women who are all about helping people create their legacy. I see a yes, Marla from Chile. So in the last minutes that we have, in 20 seconds or less, where do you see yourself And the reason why I asked that question is so the audience can get a feel for you, because they might be trying to go in the same identical correct direction that you're going. So we'll start with you, Joya. 5 to 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
5 to 10 years from now, I've broken generational curses within my own family and created a financial legacy for my family to come 3-4 generations down the line. So I am building wealth.
Awesome. Cecilia.
You know what? If it will speak for itself, I will be able to show others, my family especially, that what will happen when you put first God first, and how you would change the cycle of your family by taking them places that we've never been before. I want to be able to go on trips and travel with my family and not have money to be an option. I want to be able to serve others and not let money be an option, and be able to give back and be able to let them know that, hey, if you put your money in the right place, these things can happen when you trust God first.
I love that, CC.
All right, Marla.
I'm a giver and I'm a teacher. And so I know that when I give back to my community, I read something just the other day and it talked about, tithers, for some reason, they seem to have their finances together. So that's the first place I start, is tithing. And then the second place I start is giving back to my community. I need to change some things. I grew up in a different world, and I want to change the world I grew up in and make it so that every child who looks like me knows about finances and knows how to talk money, work money, and live money, period.
Yes, Marla. Yes.
Bernice.
Okay, ladies. So it's always been my vision. I have a lot of kids around me, my daughters. I'm like the favorite aunt, the favorite godmommy, the favorite everything. Kids have never had in my family. I will be a self-made from the bottom, from the trenches, millionaire. I will be the go-to auntie. I want the babies to know it's possible. I will have that house they look at cribs. I will be the auntie that's still cooking and they still making brownies at my table, Melissa, 20 years from now. But I want to be the icon to show kids that it's not all about ever working for someone. You can do it. Look at auntie. It can happen. Look at mommy. And so I want to be that person that the kids think don't exist. Only on TV, they'll have me. And I'm definitely going to show them.
You definitely will, Bernice.
So I just want to thank you, ladies. Just from my personal perspective, from being in financial services as well, creating a generational wealth for my husband and myself, for us, and also for the generation that came before us who did not know, and the generation after us who will build that legacy.
Yes.
So you guys, you cannot miss with any of us, all of these power hitters. I am so thankful and so glad that you guys chose to come on.
I had a great time.
I love you guys. I absolutely love you. But stay on, but we have to go because Andre is about to just turn off into a commercial. So thank you, ladies, for coming on. See you next time, and I'll see you
later. Thank you for having me.
2 weeks from today.
Okay, Melissa. Thank you, love. Thank you, Andre.
You ladies are great. It was fun.
Good.
CC went off.
And as always, we thank God for his unmerited, undeserving favor called grace. You can't work for it. You can't do anything to earn it. It is just given. Because we believe that he died, he was buried, and rose again on the third day for our justification. And that's what we believe. And on behalf of myself and my husband, we thank you for watching.